Spiritual Teaching 222. Love each other. 1. You look very closely at my departure, and that is why you cry in silence, because you have become accustomed to my sweet word. Moreover, I say, I will not leave without first having given you my last lesson, and thus you will not be clumsy in transmitting my teaching. 2. Great trials of pain are coming, and your prayer can achieve much in those hours of bitterness. Unite in your spiritual work. Obey my orders, because I do not want your faults and disobedience to be printed in the golden book. 3. During this time, the number of those called has been great. Every time I introduce myself to you, new ones arrive, hearts to thicken these roads, which are similar to tombs, as they keep a dead person inside, which is their own heart. 4. But pain purifies the spirits. That is why many will not reincarnate again. They will go to other worlds to fulfill the missions that I point out to you. 5. I come to help you in your regeneration, so that when you detach yourself from this world, you do not have to expiate your faults, but that you arrive before the Supreme Judge, clean of all stains. 6. Understand that whatever you do to your brothers you do to me, because you are all part of myself. Do not forget it, so that you can look at each of your brethren as your Father does. 7. Men come to take pleasure in causing pain, but sooner or later remorse also comes as an inexorable judge to judge you and wash you. 8. If at this time you fulfill your high mission to regenerate yourselves and save your brothers, tomorrow your name and that of my people will be pronounced with respect and gratitude, even in the most distant regions. 9. Do not miss out on feeling the satisfaction of being able to call yourselves worthily my disciples after my departure, but you must be prepared to present yourselves in the counties, towns, and villages to teach the good news of my third testament, bearing witness with your works. 10. In this time, some human doctrines have apparently triumphed, and there are a diversity of ideologies. Soon will come the hour when a single idea prevails, when humanity is unified in a single doctrine, and this will be spiritualism. 11. The elements of nature will be responsible for awakening men, and whenever they try to misrepresent my truth, those forces will speak of my justice. 12. My work will reach the ministers, the kings and lords of the earth, and you will contemplate them prostrate before my divinity. Then many books will disappear in the fire, and the book that my golden pens wrote under my dictate will emerge for the knowledge of future generations. 13. This book will be studied and by men curious to know the future, because the great chaos will be sensed by humanity. 14. All persevere in hope, because peace will be very great after this chaos. And the same nature that sometimes seems hostile to you, you will see it kind in its different seasons. The hills, valleys, and hills will flaunt exuberance and beauty. The trees will bear good fruit, and health, well-being, and peace, they will envelop human life. 15. Today the earth is cleansing of all impurity, until it reaches a new virginity. 16. When the plagues are about to unleash, I will give you the presentiment and speak to you in dreams so that you are forewarned and pray for others. 17. You have not yet contemplated the beginning of the fight against my work, and you must wake up, because they will fight it with prepared men. 18. Stop thinking too much about the needs of the body and think about the spiritual future of all humanity. 19. My doctrine will spread throughout the world, but the prevaricators will not make it known, but they will be my new apostles of humility and spirituality, those who testify with their works the charity and love of their Creator. 20. Do not let humanity see that you are weak and that you have learned nothing from the Master. Let them see that they will have to learn a lot from you. Do not imitate those who say, "Lord, your will be done to me," and at the moment of the test are dissatisfied and even dare to attribute imperfections to me. 21. I speak to you simply, in your language, because I don't want to leave anything a mystery. In these last years of my stay among you, many lessons I will share with you, O blessed people of Israel, who like tireless pilgrims go crossing the desert. Stop for a moment to hear my word. My house opens its doors for all walkers, may they call upon them with humility. Calm your hunger and thirst, and you will no longer be the hungry or the thirsty. 22. You are going through days of trial, times of purification and restitution, but I am close to you, to help you so that you do not fail in the test. Do not think for a moment that you are weak. Affirm yourselves in the certainty that you are the same people of times past, a strong, courageous people, a saving basket for the shipwrecked, a good traveling companion, friend, brother, and example. The mission that I have now entrusted to you is to love. Love is the seed that I have sown in you, because she is the beginning and the reason of all my creatures. 23. If you contemplate that I am wisdom, that wisdom springs from love. If you recognize me as a judge, that justice it is based on love. If you consider me powerful, my power is based on love. If you know that I am eternal, my eternity comes from love, because love is life and life makes spirits immortal. Love is light, it is life and knowledge. And that seed I have given you since the beginning of time, the only one that, as a perfect seed, I have sown in the lands, that of your hearts. 24. Today, in the third era, once again you rise up in my lands, to go sowing that seed that you have found. But you have seen that not all lands are easy to sow. You have also seen that some bear fruit early and others are late. Some of you have found them as hard as rocks. Others have been covered with tares and weeds. And very few are those that have been cleaned and prepared. Much is what you have had to work to clean those lands and then sow them. But when you have been patient and you have watered them with the water of your faith, you have been able to contemplate in the previously infertile lands that the seed has germinated and grown, and with it you have rejoiced. Those lands that seem to reject you every time, today they are your joy, your hope, and they have brought peace to your spirit. There is your work, your desire, and your sleeplessness. You can no longer turn away from them. 25. Keep watching and praying for those hearts, because you can feed yourself eternally from the fruit you gather. Moreover, so that this fruit gives you a good taste and brings you true life, you have to cultivate it with care, so that the seed becomes a plant, and this into a stout tree with extensive branches, which provide the walker with a cozy shade and abundant fruits that give life to the great multitudes. And then that seed must return to the heart of the earth, there to continue being born, growing and bearing fruit until the consummation of time. 26. How great is my joy to be among my disciples in these moments of true spiritual communion. Happy is the moment in which I feel the love of my children and they receive my fatherly kiss that strengthens them. It is the moment when you come to tell me, "Father, we have worked according to your teachings. But as we are not perfect, we come to you as toddlers full of meekness and humility, to show you our sowing as it is this day, and so that you, the divine Master, with your love and wisdom, teach us, correct us, and tell us how we should continue. Tell us what we have done wrong, to make amends with your help and already prepared by your charity. Let us show humanity the work, without adding or subtracting any merit." 27. And I answer, "Blessed are you because you trust in me. You know that you do not come before an executioner or an unjust judge, but that you are before a Father who is all love and teaching." 28. I give you one more lesson, so that you prepare and take advantage of my words until the last moment, so that you stay after 1950, as teachers and guides of humanity. 29. The world is under a test. Nations feel the full weight of my justice that falls on them, and my light, my voice that calls you, is felt in all humanity. Men feel my presence. They perceive my universal ray that descends and rests on them. And they raise their spirit to ask me, Lord, in what time are we? These trials and bitterness that have reached men, what do they mean, Father? Don't you hear the cry of this world? You said you would return. Even so, when are you coming? And in each sect and religion, the spirit of my children rises, and they seek me, invoke me, ask me waiting. And when they, because of their lack of preparation, cannot feel me, their faith weakens. They become confused and blaspheme. And I tell you that it was time that your emissaries were crossing the borders of your nation and had reached them, as foreigners of my teaching, giving the good news, helping them to understand the meaning of the trials of chaos in which humanity lies. 30. You have slept, people, letting the times go by, and you have just decided to savor the sweetness of my word, to receive my wonders, to listen to my forgiveness that caresses you at every moment, without remembering that in those same moments when you were enjoying peace, there are millions of your brothers who are confused and they lose their faith, who walk without God and without law, who lack daily bread and spiritual food. 31. While you gather with your brothers, with your children, wives or husbands around your table to savor your delicacies, there are thousands of scattered families who see their homes destroyed by wars, who have kindled human passions and ambition. Many fathers have been left without children. Many mothers do not have sustenance for their little ones. There are many orphans who for a long time have been deprived of contemplating the faces beloved of their fathers, widows who have gone mad with pain, multitudes of men who have been imprisoned, who find draining a cup of bitterness, eating only a crust of bread that is not enough to feed their body. 32. And if the material pain that nations are suffering is bloody, consider how much greater will be what the Spirit feels. Truly I tell you, they are already drinking the dregs of the most better cup. 33. Arise, O people, prepare yourselves in prayer, so that you may go with your thoughts, like larks of peace to those nations, and open the doors of light, reason and justice to those peoples. I am preparing you, but before I must refine your love. Remember that to reach me, how many trials did you have to go through, and how much bitterness struck your spirit and your matter? Illness in some, misery in others, ignorance of loved ones, her abandonment or her departure. Pain in all its forms, like a very bitter chalice, was drunk by you to purify yourselves. Your heart opened in the midst of the pain that was purifying you to come to recognize and love me. 34. When you came to me, led by Elijah, the good shepherd, you came very humbly to ask me what I was going to do with you, because you humbly asked me to do my will in you. And my will has been to show you the love, forgiveness, and charity in all its forms. Through them I have given you gifts, powers, and graces. 37. Go and fulfill your mission full of firmness and trust in your Father, and do everything that you had not done in times past, so that you can finish your work and finally reach the spiritual fulfillment that awaits you. 38. If this world has been a valley of tears until now, it is because man has departed from my law. I formed a paradise for him and made many of the first spirits incarnate in the first subjects, without ceasing to be angels. I wanted that when they came to earth, they would not lose their grace and live in peace and conformity. But man did not want it that way, and his weakness and ingratitude, his lack of spirituality, they gave rise to a world of pain and struggle. 39. Man has suffered to make his daily bread, and the woman has accompanied him on his path of pain and vicissitudes. But this world that has been the valley of tears for so many ages will become a valley of peace when you, my first disciples, have been redeemed and go everywhere bearing witness to me with your good works. 40. This planet that has received spirits in different degrees of elevation, most of them of lower elevation, will receive in its bosom beings of great elevation, who will be able to communicate with me from spirit to spirit, and each generation that passes, he will live with greater purity, until the kingdom of heaven is established in the hearts of men. 41. To achieve all this, you will have to fight within your own home so that you make it a temple of love and teaching of my law, where parents are for their children my representatives on earth, and children are for their parents, jewels of great value, tender plants that must be cultivated with love, that man in his field work, in the work assigned to it, carry as a standard the fulfillment of its mission with strength, that woman be the loving companion of man and the self-sacrificing mother, so that both, in union with their children, bless the bread that gives them sustenance. 42. I want that wherever you go, you carry the bread of my teaching and preach with humility, because there will be those who, contemplating your life, intrigued, ask themselves, who are these who know how to live with such love and simplicity? Who are these who know how to be happy with a crust of bread, and who, despite their scarcity, are healthy and strong and need not turn to men of science for advice or health? And when they get to ask yourselves, who has taught you, you will say to them, it is the divine Master in spirit, who has come to us in the third era, in fulfillment of his promise made in times past. I want you to bear witness of your Master with your actions, because humanity is fed up with words. There you have many of your brothers who work hard to preach the gospel, and even though it is the word I gave you in the second era, they have not managed to save humanity from this third era, because they have lacked the practice of good works as examples. For those same words, my apostles gave their lives, but they didn't know how to imitate me, and they sealed their fulfillment with their blood. 43. Today I am not coming to ask for your blood or for you to sacrifice your life. What I ask of you is love, sincerity, truth, disinterest. 44. Thus I teach you and continue to teach you, thereby preparing the disciples of my divinity in this third era, because I see you contemplate indifferently the march of the world, and it is that you do not know how to penetrate into the heart of humanity, where there is so much misery and so much pain. There is great inequality, because I see gentlemen who only lack the crown to name themselves kings, and I contemplate subjects who are true slaves. Hence the fight has started. Among those gentlemen enriched in the world there are many who call themselves Christians, but I tell you, they hardly know my name. 45. Those who do not see their neighbor and others, who accumulate wealth and take over what belongs to others, these are not Christians, because they do not know charity. The struggle between the spiritual and the material will come. Humanity will enter into that struggle, and before the triumph of justice comes, how much bitterness will he have to suffer? 46. In the midst of this contest of doctrines and ideas, my teaching will emerge, as the light of the lighthouse appears in the middle of the storm. Understand through my word the situation that will overwhelm humanity, and then you will know how to judge better the time, and you will know what you must do to not remain inactive. 47. Understand that the only spiritual treasure for which you must fight is that of my law. You have sacrificed the symbols through which you worshiped me yesterday, to make way for a more perfect idea. Without, however, see how even in this time peoples are rising up contending for the possession of that land and those places where in times past I manifested myself. Many symbols I have made disappear, but men do not lack reasons for their idolatry and fanaticism. I tell you, before the generations to come bow down to the idols of today, my justice will destroy them, and the only columns that resist the power of my justice will be those that support the shrines built in the depths of your heart. shrines of faith, peace, and brotherhood, because the spiritual is indestructible. 48. My spiritual doctrine in the third era, when the earth is already prepared, will gently reach the heart of humanity. His triumph will not be achieved with blood or offense. Spiritualism will be established by understanding each other. Nobody who tries to impose my doctrine by means of force will be a soldier of truth, because my doctrine does not come in material conquest. If in the second era in which I came to prepare you to reign in your hearts, I told you that my kingdom was not in this world, today that I come to raise your spirit to reign in it, how could I tell you what is contrary? My doctrine rests on foundations of love. But you have forgotten it, and that is why I have told you that it was necessary to return among men to remind them of the forgotten law, that which your ancestors loved and for which many martyrs and apostles died thinking of you. 49. My sacrifice of that time was not enough, and here I am again. New apostles are needed, and they I will soon send with the divine seed. Like the winds that go from one end of the earth to the other, so will my doctrine spread. My envoys will not go alone. A world of invisible beings like armies of light will accompany them to make their step and will truly be heard by all. 50. Disciples, learn from me. While the moment comes when you have to get up to teach my lesson to your brothers, know from now on that after the year 1950, you will no longer enter this ecstasy to speak, that by then it will be enough for you to raise your thoughts to the Father, with that preparation that I have taught you, so that for your lips come out words of light. Develop your gifts so that you know how to receive my inspiration. 51. I give you this lesson so that you study it carefully and analyze its essence, which will be useful to you tomorrow, when you have to teach your brothers with my doctrine of love. My peace be with you.